everybody. Hi. Welcome to Experience 4.0. We're so happy to have you here. First of all, thank you so much, Showtime Academy, for giving us the space to host this event this evening and to be here with us throughout the entire process of bringing this show to life and bringing this together. So, this evening is going to be comprised of a lot of different experiences. This is an exploration of all the senses of creativity, of art, of connection with the art and within yourselves. I'm your MC. My name is Julia Jackson, and I'll be directing you this evening. So, first of all, I know that you guys came in through the lobby, and we've invited you to go through the different spaces and start your exploration. This evening, I want you to know that you have the free will and range to come up and explore on your own timing. We're gonna have 4 rounds of live performances in the Black Box Theater, and I'll make sure to let you know when those are happening, right? We're gonna have a few breaks in between them where you are free to go look at other things and experience. One of the things that I want to tell you before is that we have a lot of different ways to connect with art. And something that's very important to us is that you do what's best for you. So I'm going to read our statement of empowerment right now. Once I get it from my phone. Find it. All right. So we recognize that art can provoke. Therefore, during the course of this evening activities, participants are empowered to remove themselves should they feel a threat to their well-being. We acknowledge that we are in the Aboriginal territories of the Salish and Kalispel people. We honor the path that they have always shown us in caring for this place and for generations to come. So, first, before we start the live performances, I'd like to introduce one of our ongoing installations made by Red King, right over in the corner right there. You'll see our bunny funeral. So this is an ongoing installation this evening where the artist invites you to come into this collective funeral, write some things that you want to let go of, things that you no longer is needed in your life, in a piece of paper, and put it in the casket, right? During the breaks from the dances, feel free to make your way over there, have your time. We also have some funeral pamphlets that are available explaining a little bit more of the artistic artwork. Ooh, that was a hard one. On the lobby, on the main area where you came in from, we have a big poster with some more information about the artists, the artwork that they're creating for this evening. So if you're curious about anything that you've seen here, please direct yourselves there and have a little read up, yeah? In the end, we're gonna have a little meet and mingle with artists. So this is your moment to ask them any questions that were provoked when you were watching their work. Another thing that I'd like to say is thank you to Arts and Above for coming up with this evening. Kate and Bruno, you are amazing, and we so appreciate having exactly. Thank you very much. We appreciate having artistic vision and voices in this amazing Missoula community. So we're gonna get started with our round 1 of live performances. Remember, throughout the rounds, a few performances might repeat themselves, and you might see something completely new. It's your own choice to either stick with it or go explore the other spaces. So with you right now, we're gonna see Ruby Jenny and her solo Back to Pelagic. All right. beautiful job by Ruby. As we set up for the next performance, I also forgot to give you a little reminder. Today, this is an immersive experience. So you're gonna be as much of performers as the artists over here. And eventually throughout the evening, I will be redirecting you to move your chairs to a different spot in the room. So when that happens, I want to make sure you know not to drag the chairs through this beautiful dance floor that we want to take care of. Yeah? So when I said we're gonna move around the room with the chairs or go against the walls, we're gonna pick up the chairs, and if you need help, let me know, and you're gonna move them. Yeah? All right. Now we have the Augusto trio with Kate, Bruno, and Liliana. Enjoy.
That day was so good the other day. We have that more times.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Okay.
Yeah, can eat, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's cheese basically, right?
It's yogurt and cucumber and dip.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's good fun. She did the look, she did like this, look. Hey. No, Lydia.
If you want to be happy, you must need to eat. If you want to be strong and go out and play, you must need to sleep. We're for a lovely day, but when you wake up and pull up your grooves, pull on your new hair, and run outside to dance class. If you want to be happy, it's hard to go in and learn it the other way. How do you really sing for it?
Just like that. I'll hold it for you.
If you want to be happy, you must need to play. If you want to be
Is this working now? Well, I guess it's without microphone. So up next we're having Renee Landini. Renee, are you in the audience right now?
Yes.
Oh, yes you are. Yeah, so Renee is a prose, poet, and an artist, and she'll be sharing her work with us today. We're signing up for you. That went over.
When I taught English composition to freshman university students, I used all the opportunities I could to make the class memorable. My favorite way of teaching lessons would be to place each lesson in the framework of choose your own adventure. So tonight, I have reprised and revised choose your own adventure for today's lessons. We're all looking for my porch door. I really want to ask for 2 volunteers tonight. A person who thinks that they're more prose than poetry, and someone who thinks they're more poetry than prose. Can I have a prose person come up here? I know one. If you don't come up, I can't see. Annette, will you be my prose person? Sorry. Is there a poem out there that would like to come up here? Volunteer to help me tell the story? Who's a poem? Can't see. You have to come up. Thank you. Hi. So here we have my porch door. I like to order things. Each of these are a prose poem. And the prose person gets to choose the 2 prose pieces they want to hear tonight, and they're connected to a poem. Which prose pieces would you like to hear? They're in the rows. 2 of them. Okay. Your job is coming next. I'm going to ask you when you want to hear a poem. So you want this one, 1 and 3. Yes, they're in the rows. So these are prose poems. Here. So for the first piece, would you like to hear the poem at the top, in the middle, or at the bottom? Okay. And for this one, this piece down here, these 2, would you like to hear the poem at the beginning, in the middle, or the end? What is this? Bottom and middle. Okay. That's all I need you for. This story is called Scrambled. This is my attempt to make sense of the time I myself didn't make sense. A time I forgot who I was. I was in a trance, let's call it. And it lasted more than a year. Daredevils jump. Lovers leap. Poem, you want to hear it at the beginning or the end?
The end.
Okay. Thank you. Keep reminding me. Daredevils jump. Lovers leap. Daredevils jump, calculating their fall, and lovers have faith that their leap will take them higher. Which is reckless? Neither, the wise say. Same coin. Hesitation is what's reckless. A stiff body, a cloudy mind. Wearing a uniform puts my mind at ease. I know how to act accordingly with mask on, with a wink, ever so often. But I am the natural surveyor of our land. I check our boundaries, I get in scuffles off on my own. But I always return to help the wounded. This is my role. A routine of errands, checking in, checking out, a rivering. I knew my mouth was going to get dry. I tried to prevent it by chewing gum. A patient once offered that the procedure was always going to be traumatic for her. But when she closed her eyes, the warmth of my leg against her arm presented comfort. Unlike most, the sound of a dental drill creates a calmness in me. The deafening environment hesitates my other senses, and I got good at not listening. It was my job to scan the room for anxieties. A stiff body, a cloudy mind can cause problems. So I had to learn to translate the professional into the layman. I had to learn to assess the solace of movements, to counterbalance accordingly, to anticipate the needs of everyone in the room, to be prepared. It's a dance all assistants learn to somehow be one brain, extra hands and a pair of eyes for another. Creating this bond is essential for proper care of a patient. When we become a lead, doctor, assistant, and then patient, we are a triangle, two strong lines holding one another. In November of 2022, I made the decision to leave the dental field to pursue my writing dreams. It was more than that, though. My business brain had been saturating my creative brain since 2019, and I felt I was on the verge of threading the whole town together. A nest network, a collective who could generate money to take care of business. What business? The business of taking care of each other. A surfing fund that could become big enough to storm for change. See, I created a blueprint for universal dental care. Transitions are hard for me. I had been preparing to leave dentistry for a while, knowing the inevitable purchase by a corporation would make me jump anyway. See, a trained poet hidden behind a mask for too long creates a flood. And if I'm not careful, I become a cutaway. Poem. Clark Clark. The car parts I have scraped against while floating to fill the garage, like the one my dad rented to restore old cars. Are you here? For a few months, my dad made an entrepreneurial effort. He was just a guy in the garage next to the train tracks. Would this be me? But boy, this river's gotta go, huh? Too much of a good thing, I'll say. Floaters drinking their Big Sky beers and White Claws. They're piss messing, green algae thriving. What have we done? I walked my dog across the bridge every day of summer on spray-painted words asking me who owns my soul. Where deer devils and daredevils jump into a clear trajectory, but only in one spot. dive a little too this way, dive a little too that way. When heavy mountain rains bring down mud, the river turns into a coffee with creamer, the same shade of a dear friend's morning cup. If you choose to swim then, the trout with their snouts will bump into your legs over and over again. Blur stands with a fist. All right, you asked for this one. What lessons can I teach you? When a person experiences such stress, something strange happens within their brain. It can no longer take in information the way it once did with the swings. It becomes a tunnel for biases, and it clings to delusions. It clings to a story that grounds it. And the story my brain adhered to was love. In October of 2022, I was writing my second book that was part of my holiday series called Valentine's/Revolution. I took a break from performing as a comedian to write about my friends, to make mention of all the wild things I had said and done while pretending to be one of them. I kicked at all my anxieties so as to teach lessons about the human condition, the longing for connection, rejection, and ultimately reconciliation. And then in November, a couple of weeks after I had turned 40, I spoke to my stepmother for the last time. She could only grunt into the phone as I cried. Promising her I would tell her story. I promised I would be her voice. The seesaw of emotions seesawed my gut. And when my physician only saw the depression, she prescribed me a drug to help. I took the leap of faith because I heard from others how positive this drug made their lives, and the grief was too much. This is where I became lost to delusional story of my own making. Psychosis, my pathways, my threads became two. My inner dialogue is a fox in disguise, something to not give much credence to, other than knowing it's a creative beast. After I started performing on stage, my inner dialogue started talking to an audience, but then that audience started talking back. I couldn't tell the real from the imaginary. I had become scrambled. Stands with the fist. You know, dances with wolves. I only saw that movie once. Well, I'm her. I'm Kate Winslet's granddaughter, you know, from Titanic. I survived, and I lived in Nova Scotia. The natives took me and the Three Gables. This is me. This is why I have a big nose. What are you talking about? Slow down. Take a breath. I don't understand. I'm Canadian. I have magical blood. It's B positive. See, everything's a joke. I'm B positive, B positive. But it's also true. I know I will become a universal donor. My jokes are real. I wrote a joke and it became real. How is that possible? I understand you think you are making sense, but I am not following what you're saying. I want to start again. Please do. Stand with this. I'm adopted. Am I a twin? A triplet? See, there are these 3 pictures of me in a blue blanket. What? And they were my brothers, I know it. See, there are 3 of us. Born on a magical day? Or is that what they told us? Because we were all to become pretenders? I know. But I don't know who I am. I know I'm being protected. My mom died. She lives. They just had to take her away. She lives. She told me. Who told me? The only one I trust. She's special. This pretender like me. And my family set me up. All the dentists, they brought her to the clinic for her to assess whether or not I really was chosen to bring revolution, you know. I took her picture and then met her years later, almost forgetting that first encounter. But I knew her. See, I understand what it is. I can pretend to be. I am a poet. The most magical of writers, the most delusional, but I know it's true. And what is that? This is happening inside my head. During mania, there's a surge. Tunnel vision, tunnel hearing, tunnel seeing. But during psychosis, everything is blindingly electrified. There's only one way out. A death within you must occur. And the appendage must be cut off. But you aren't sure which it is. And the scalpel you're holding onto is dull. You cannot be your own doctor when you're the patient. Poem. A day before, a day after. A day before. Dandelions have popped up overnight, and the fields are full of blue butterflies. Tell me, how does one prepare for revolution? A day after. After turning onto Calle de Arroyo, the automobile dust hums on and tastes the uprising. The uprising swallows the surrounding story until clouds form shapes, filthy clear. Filthy clear, they float, suspended for all time. Because time is the flutist who plays her whistle here. When she whistles here, sounds are muted loud. I feel I can hear everything and nothing. And nothing is the reason for breathing. Bathed in this dust. The automobile is an automobile blurred by Sakia particles. Those particles care nothing for its creator. Its creator is forgotten by the road and wind, and then the intelligent dust knows other factors play in the dust. And it will suffocate and laugh in the mouth of an infant. And in the nose will smell hints of rain and hints of brown life that gives life to others. To others, the smell will be dirty and unclean. Something one might find in a bar dumpster. My dumpster pride says glory to the road. Glory be to the road. Drink in this sun dust for the rest of my days. I almost pulled out my own eye when I was experiencing psychosis. Nothing around me was true. How could I be so deaf? My eyes lied about what I was seeing, and I was certain there was no use to it anymore. I walked around on autopilot, living in a trance of discombobulation. I thought I was writing a story with my friends online through different apps, like Fight Club. And in real life, we don't talk about Fight Club. But in reality, the reality turned out to be something much different. I was getting the man who scammed me everything. I was made to believe I was putting my inheritance into a fund for my business plan. That my friends had finally accepted me for the awkward genius that I am. And that we were all on board. singing together towards revolution of collective voices. Only thing. The voices were only mine. Thank you.
It's your turn to play the dancing chairs or musical chairs. I don't know what you call it in the United States. It's our time to move around the room as we set up for our next performance, which is our beautiful flamenco dancers. Now, I'm gonna ask this row over here. Oh, look at that, magic. To set up your chairs around this part. And we're basically making a big circle. So you can either bring your chairs with you, or just walk around. You can sit on this chair, on this green couch. Now remember, grab your chairs, lift them up before you move them. Here we go, let's see how you do, audience. All right, so before we get this started, I'd like to give a little intro on the art of flamenco. Flamenco was named an intangible cultural heritage of humanity by UNESCO in 2010 as a part of efforts to further peace through understanding. To receive this designation, an art form must be traditional, contemporary, and living, handed down from generation to generation, and shared beyond its community of origin, and in danger of deterioration, destruction, and disappearance. Now, all over the world, people of all ages are practicing sevillanas in preparation of celebrating the spring fairs of Andalusia, southern Spain. The most famous of these is the Feria de Sevilla, first held in 1847. Today, you will find Ferias de Sevilla all around the world. While sevillanas is primarily a regional or folkloric dance, it is widely integrated into the flamenco repertoire. Vamos por Sevilla! All right, everybody. So this was our round one. We're gonna be back here in about 5 minutes or so. While that time's happening, go ahead and explore even more on the rooms. Maybe construct and destruct some cradles in that room right there. Watch a very interesting video installation. Go into Bruno's world. Do as you may. You can leave your chairs where they are, and we're gonna be playing dancing chairs again pretty soon. Yeah? All right. Have fun.
And the grass still grows like it always has, and the wind still blows like it always will. But I stand by the firelight, and the people think like they always have, and the people talk like they always will. But I stand by the firelight. Cool breeze, the trees are crying. Cool breeze, I feel like dying. Cool breeze, the trees are crying again. Cool breeze. Listen for the wolf. Show me the Mona Lisa. Say yeah, man, that's alright. Put me in the Colosseum. I'm still not satisfied. I saw so much more in her eyes. Wish I'd never taken that midnight train. I wish I never got on this big jet plane. The view from her starlit eyes was my paradise. Wish I could have known just where I'd go. I've traveled the world all alone. Paris and Rome have got nothing on you tonight. You were paradise. Gave me all the money in the world, something other guys might like. Chased by lots of pretty girls, but now I just close my eyes. 'Cause all I need is paradise. Wish I'd never taken that midnight train. I wish I never got on this big jet plane. The view from her starlit eyes was my paradise. Wish I could have known just where I'd go. I've traveled the world all alone. Paris and Rome have got nothing on you tonight. You were paradise. Stop living this life, moving on with time. Looking back, it just felt taking that midnight train. I wish I never got on this big jet plane. The view from her starlit eyes was my paradise. Wish I could have known just where I'd go. I've traveled the world all alone. Paris and Rome have got nothing on you tonight. I hope I never ride on that midnight train. I hope I never get on that big jet plane. The view from your starlit eyes is my paradise. I hope I always know just where to go. Never wanna travel this world alone. Please, baby, stand by my side. Your paradise.
Oops, I almost forgot how to formulate thoughts. Life is a sandbox, and it just rained. I live under a rock, never look at the clock. Key inside a lock, but the lock's changed. Who is it in the glass? I live in the past. Is that me? The mirror's cracked. Oh wait, that's my skin. Please explain to me how it all happened so fast. It's like I'm 5 years old and the whole world is moving without me. It's like I'm 5 years old and even me, I still don't know what the hell is happening. Like I'm 5 years old and nobody seems to notice me. Please explain it. Let's go dance on the lawn, back before things went wrong. Mom singing a song, where's that time gone? Wake up at 6 o'clock, what did Santa bring? A present under the tree for me. Memories. Please explain to me how it all happened so fast. It's like I'm 5 years old and the whole world is moving without me. It's like I'm 5 years old and even me, I still don't know what the hell is happening. Like I'm 5 years old and nobody seems to notice me. Please explain it. Seems to me growing up is a trap, so I just won't. Don't care if all you still don't. Please explain to me how it all happened so fast. It's like I'm 5 years old and the whole world is moving without me. It's like I'm 5 years old and even me, I still don't know what the hell is happening. Like I'm 5 years old and nobody seems to notice me. Please explain it.
Nurturing our community as we continue to explore, create, and grow together. Your presence truly matters.
All right, thank you, Paul. Okay, everybody, it's that time to play dancing chairs, musical chairs. I still don't know the names. Now, for our next performance, is it musical chairs? Oh, musical chairs, yay. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go back to our original setup. So everybody, I want you to turn your chairs towards, towards that wall right there where Joe is standing and waving at you. All right, everybody settling in, get comfy. few people in the back getting seated. All right. Now, with you for our next performance, Maddie Reedinger. I think I said it right. Yay! With her clogging and super fast feet. Enjoy. All right, for our next performance, I'm actually going to ask the audience to scooch back a little bit. So you're going to have your chairs and go a little bit back up until Marcus. Tell me when I hit the spot. Is this good?
By the door. By the door.
This is great. Up until where I am. Yeah. Perfect. Now, next we're going to have Ruby Jenny reciting some poetry by Bruno Augusto. This beautiful, handsome man right here. Here you go, Ruby. Oh, you got it.
Hello. It is my pleasure to present poetry, I believe, from your high school days. Yes. And it is in Spanish. He sido meses que susurré a gotas en tiempo de malvados y religión y de siempre. Inútil entre espada y queso y hasta infame. He sido silencios bruscos y corruptos en las marginales del miedo, prófugo de mi sien y vestido y sin miel. Pero he cruzado la barrera, ya he cumplido con mi ausencia. Ahora soy un eje voraz de inercia. Ya me siento más normal, me veo al fin en mi espejo. Ya me siento más mortal. And this is from January from 1997. I believe the last was from 1996. Debo cambiar mi exposición de sueños de mares de hielo, pero no. De lienzo, no de vela, no de trago, y hay que limpiar bien ese aire, el viento que de fuerte ríe y llora en mi cara. Debo existir más en la que viene, pues esta calle ya es más del polvo, más del todo que nunca es nada que pueda ser mío. Quiero una galería de pinturas inventadas por mí, y no me importa ser original. Quiero una galería de amor. Quiero de pinturas nuevas, otras, solo para que así puedas ver mejor mi paisaje. Gracias.
Beautiful. Next up, we have Ruby Jenny to kick off our round 3. Here we go. Next up, we have the Augusto duet with Kate and Bruno.
Hey, that bit was so good the other day.
Uh-huh.
We have that more times.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Okay.
Yeah, can you know?
Yeah.
Because she's crazy, right?
It's yogurt and coloring down.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's good for her.
up, we have Renee Lamy. Thank you.
This is a continuation of the story scramble. Prose gave us our blueprint. 1, 3, now we have 2, 4. Is my poem still here? Hello? Poem? Is there anybody who is willing to be my poem? Just say aye. No poem out there? Well, I guess I'll have to make the decisions myself. Called Some Great Disaster. Clouds loomed in a sandy African desert like I've only seen in the movies. I heard over a bullhorn placed upon the largest pole ever erected, "Flee to the right, flee to the right." I was turned around, so I picked a direction and ran. Wind pounded my face until I fell down and covered myself. Sand dizzied me and I wanted to sleep, but someone picked me up and brought me to a bus station where another person wearing black paired random people together, transporting everyone to safety. I gave up my place in line a few times because I noticed if I played my cards right, I'd be paired with my poetry teacher. She was enchanting and sexual, and I was happy to give up my life to be with her. There was room on the bus for both of us. In the midst of chaos, sitting on our shared green seat, we found love in each other's faces. We talked about what we would write after this disaster died down, our hands nervously intertwined as the clouds all around us were forming in gray and black swirls that touched the earth. We knew this moment would give us subject to ponder on for the rest of our lives. Somehow, we arrived at an abandoned community of English cottages, mixed with modern architecture, moss, bubbled windows, steel walls. This was our life. Long walks around empty plazas, holding hands, kissing, collecting 5 cats. In our beautiful moment of stillness, the details about the storm that destroyed most of the earth was becoming uncertain. We realized there would never be an audience but each other. We took out our pens and began to write our poems. We diverged, because that's what poets do. Our mirror was broken, our portal closed. What will we say now, since our separation? I am a tornado, portal closed. There's a fogginess to tornado memories. It's like seeing color for the first time. How one has ever described a moment of impact and the subsequent spurt. It will take a lifetime. So my question is, are you in the basement yet? Because we're being scrambled. Have you been trying to pay attention? Stop. You're going blind. You're going deaf. You are not the scramble. You are the house. So hold on. This landscape is about to change. I was a teenager when I chased my older sister with a hammer for reasons now forgotten. We ended up in our father's workshop, stopping at the door that led out to the alleyway in the back of our Las Cruces home. I woke up from the rage and I saw the ridiculousness of it. I'm a bird who can't fly away. So I chose to pick up a hammer to look big. But what can a bird do with a hammer? Even if you can't swim. Birds are meant to sing. My 13-year-old words were twisted by another person, and my father used them to lie to my mother and stepfather to gain custody. I remember how I wildly fluttered around the laundry room after I told my mother over the phone that it was my son's day. How I pounded on my head and wailed and couldn't be consoled. It was at this moment I learned to retreat into myself and keep up appearances. A double-life survivalist, a pretender who can find themselves in unfamiliar lands and make it out alive. The best spotter in front of them. I prefer manic depressive, if you were to refer to my behavioral ways. Most of my reasons for life are semantic. What drives me to the number 4 is linguistic poetry, how I see the world. I see it in 2s and 4s and 11s, which in itself is 3. 11, a tender, a parallel, a mirror for everything. It's a 1, 2, 3. I. 3, it's just an E, another way, an N, another, and a W. 1, 2, 3. A framework for a story, beats and anti-beats. How can any sane person play in such language? It's only meant for a period of time, manic time, to harvest before the storm. What happens if the storm is longer than anticipated? What if one storm leads to another, to another, to another? In 2019, I lost my housing where I had chickens and a rolling number of temporary roommates. Some of us cooked and shared dinner together, others stayed in their rooms, some larked in the backyard, and others tinkered on cars. Misfits of all types, sharing a historical home, a space we called ours for a while, the dairy. And it was falling apart around us. That September, I packed up and found myself in another historical home, the pump house. At the same time, a friend moved away, a doctor I was extra eyes for, whose micronutrients I could anticipate. She found greener pastures after devastation, and I was happy to see her go. Storm, transitional storm, with such loud music. And I thought, I've gone through this before. Smiling, telling me sort of doing it. To be true. In 2020, though, the world shifted with an environmental trauma none of us expected. Something unimaginable that made us immobile and masked. I thought about my resources. I thought about what I could do to make it out alive. And then I remembered who I was under the uniform. Poet. And so for Poetry Month, April, the cruelest of months, I wrote 40-word poems for my friend's 40th birthday. A flood of love that I couldn't stop. Came out. I thought about beats and anti-beats. I realized I needed to slow time. I needed to make art. I realized I couldn't sustain the mania without tinkering on aesthetic, without editing. And now, I don't know how much this is true, but in my dream of dreams, I saw a network I could create, having a small press publishing company. All I needed was an audience and a few other creatives to help me make it a reality. I thought, why not start before I have anyone? In 2021, I wrote a small book of poetry called Halloween/Revolution, and I published it myself through the publishing company I incorporated. I wore all the hats. Writer, editor. This book, the first in a series of American holiday revolution books, was one I wrote in the month of October before I turned 39. See, I'm a witch around Halloween, and I know my character well. I love my spiral ways to take hold for one. When I was writing it, I asked my mother to send me photos of myself when I was a child in South Dakota. She sent me in a Halloween photo where I was dressed up as a fortune teller, a costume I came up with myself. See, the man behind the curtain is the same man with a crystal ball. She also sent me baby photos. 3 of the 4 baby photos were taken on the same day with me wrapped in a blue blanket in different areas of my grandparents' house. The handwriting on the back was my grandmother's. First visit, 11 days old, and then a wrong date, 10/11/82. Which means, could I have really been born on September 30th? I knew it was a mistake, but my brain was in a creative space, and I riffed off the mistake. And I thought about all the possibilities. Who am I, if not a writer? That same October, I decided to do something I feared, which was to actually find my audience. I went to an open comedy mic night at Flippers, a local bar full of characters I once frequented. I've never done comedy. I brought poems that could make you laugh if I read them the right way. They were old poems from a book I wrote in 2011, a decade, a circle. How powerful could they be? Storm, transitional storm. I never truly counted the times I went on stage as a comedian. Between that first time at Flippers and the last time, I don't even remember. I have all of my performances written down, so I can tally them if I want to. See, I was a staple for pages of jokes and poems to be ordered in new ways. And in that, I became a character of myself, alive to get a laugh, a teacher of lessons. I'm a poet always, so I'm used to audiences not laughing. I don't know if I ever quite learned how to do comedy. I didn't read any books. I didn't attend any workshops. I just observed the ones I thought were funny. And I worked off an energy I felt when I was writing, much like when I wrote poetry. I couldn't stop writing jokes though. I never had a repeated set. Some jokes made the cut to the next performance, but many were replaced. At a certain point, I couldn't stop the creative pour. I needed to step away. I hadn't realized I had already become a storm cloud. A low grade mania fed me and gave me purpose between October 2021 to August 2022, when suddenly my friend blew back. I had to stop twirling to recover from grief. But I couldn't have predicted what came next. Somewhere along the line, the crystal ball was lost.
What's your last name?
All right, this is the last prose poem. All of the poems tonight I wrote more than 20 years ago. Maybe 17, 20 to 17 years ago. They've been revised, as they always are. So I want to start with that poem first. It is called Speaking the Law of Natural Continuity. Or, what's that got to do with the price of eggs? I carried my lover, who is also my enemy, wrapped in a blanket to bring her home, but she and I never made it. I laid her next to a country home, where the windows were close to the ground, and she slept. I told myself I'd come back for her, but first I needed to ease her hurt. I searched the arroyos, trying to steal treasures from dilapidated couches and wooden poles. I've always felt guilty. The game might not be repetitive. Why can't children hatch from wounds? Garros? Garoba? Yes, one another. Stop buffing or polish. Red brick road to greener pastures. What's the cost of living one life on the land and quite another off? What's the cost of performance? Could it be environmental traumas? As a poet, I withhold certain clarity. A dear male friend wrote an essay regarding my inclination for what he called a feminine quality. A dodged question here, are we direct there? The art of deception. Some of us women have been polishing these knives since Millstone. Maybe it's time to stop buffing. Maybe it's time for clarity. To be sought inside the safe bubble of true communication. Maybe we put down our meetings, our meetings, our jokes to be croissant, because it inspires too much. When I was in the psych hospital the second time in less than a year, I thought my favorite nurse was my neighbor I hadn't ever met. She asked me why the Wizard of Oz meant so much to me. And I proceeded to tell her my favorite reason why. Men. Scarecrow. Tin Men. Lions. Are allegories of human anxieties. Brain, heart, spirit. But they long ago became arrested by uncertainties. They had no purpose. And their anxieties took over to where they became rocks. Then one day, a child left. And these rocks were removed. Something to take care of. Something outside of themselves to live. I know how dangerous psychosis can be. In others, there are dark stories as well. They can kill. They can be killed. The pathways prayed are so powerful. The pull of the brain to trick itself isn't such a treat. So I'm thankful that the story I held on to is love. Others have had more devastating consequences. And even though my red brick road became hidden under the debris, I've been working hard at picking up the pieces to make the pathway clear once again. It's time for reconciliation, a true forgiveness and understanding. If we are ever on the green pastures, we dare to dream. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your beautiful dancing of the Sevillanas. Next up, we're gonna have Maddie reading some of her own poetry for us. You might have seen her clogging with really fast feet in the beginning of the night.
If you can hear me, can I get a what? Perfect. I realize I'm not as strong as I once was, so my feet are hurting a little bit after the beginning of the night. So we're just going to share some poetry. I don't know if you had a trip to the restroom today, but some of my poems are available in the restroom to be reading. Kind of on theme with the things that I like to write, so I'm super odd. This first one that I'm going to be sharing is entitled Party Trick. High school boy thought he was cool. Stopped the car 2 blocks away from home. Left his foot on the brake. Bottle of fruity liquor between his thighs. Drinking drink. I was along for the ride, having never been drunk. Glad to be in his passenger seat. I twisted the cat between my teeth, so felt the slender neck of the bottle against my novice throat. I remember this. Cool, drunk. Pulling my head up with the passing headlights, inside flesh clanging against the glass, gagging every time I smell sweat on leather, so using my teeth to open bottles. Sorry, they're pretty short, so you don't get to get as immersed as Renee's lovely pieces. This next one is on Michelle. Port wine stain nestled between her thighs. Bring lips down to drink, inhale, sip slow. Taste far closer to Chardonnay, unexpected surprise. I bring my mouth closer, blame it on the high. French blackbird blue, relatively close to Merlot. Port wine stain nestled between her thighs. She blushes, refuses to meet my eyes. Sweet can mean different things to different people. Taste far closer to Chardonnay, anticipating surprise. My hands grab hers, messy, fingers messy and intertwined. Nuanced Malbec, plum and leather, hint of tobacco. Port wine stain nestled between her thighs. Head tilts back for air, chest shudders with its rise. Full-bodied, apple crisp and grasping nightstand of oak. Taste far closer to Chardonnay, approaching surprise. Skin brushes my cheeks, clenching as tongue applies. Pressure, corked back for years, clustered as it grows. Port wine stain nestled between her thighs. Taste far closer to Chardonnay, welcome surprise. I will just read one more, and then I'll get out of your hair. This one is called Defecational Undressing. She is my favorite. Not that we're supposed to have favorites. Shaking, I sit, releasing yesterday's decisions, the miserable proof of my womanhood, and the procreational liquids I allowed unobstructed entrance into my body. The muscle of dispersion, puckering, clenching, cramping, with the squeeze of organs responsible for the steady drip of red into my cotton and splash in the cloudy water. Last night you came. I immediately fell asleep with my posterior damp from your DNA, and now it stings when I piss, but not quite as badly as when you were relieved the blood arrived. Then you scolded me to clean it up. What will never become our lineage is murky and trickles into the bowl. And now I sit, curling with the curse of menstruation or ovulation or gestation. Is there a word for defecating so hard you feel the need to shed every layer of clothing that restricts the lifting of legs to broaden the egress? It's neither here nor there, I suppose. I shit regardless.
All right, if you want to see a little bit more of Maddie's poetry, if you haven't yet used the restroom today, her poetry is the one framed on, I think, 2 different restrooms. Next up, we have Angela Daly and Ashton Phillips.
Last time you get to move your chairs. Come join us in the space. We're going to be in the round, and you're all going to be staring at this beautiful dancer. Come join us. Marcus, if you can find that slideshow when you have time, that would be excellent. There we go. We have an amazing slideshow that the community has put together of slides and things that they love about Montana. Did everyone get a chance to go to the vault? The vault is the room right across the way. People in Missoula have been incredibly generous with us, making this piece this week. We interviewed everyone to ask them how they felt when Montana is called a red state. Come in, you guys, come in, please join us. We need everyone to be in the circle because the dancers need your energy. It's been a long night. I mean, I'm 62 years old. It's been a part-time job just keeping my body warm. All right. So Marcus, if you can start that sound file for us, that would be excellent.
Well, I've lived in Montana for the last 54 years, and when I came to Montana, it was a blue state, and Mike Mansfield was the Senate Majority Leader, a Democrat, and Ray Metcalf was our other senator. The Metcalf Wilderness area is named for him, also a Democrat. And there were Democratic governors and Democratic majorities in the legislature through the 70s and into the mid-80s, and began to change in the 80s as a result of the organized activity of the Christian right in Montana. And they dominated the Republican Party. They took over the Republican Party in Montana, which up until that time had been rather moderate Republican Party. But the Christian right very consciously, by design, enacted the plan that they had in mind, and that was enabled to flourish when Reagan was elected in the 80s. And that whole wave that just led to this began. And I have watched that happen, although I happen to live in the bluest part of the state, and it's where I settled in 1971, and where I love to be. But I know lots of people across the state, and it shocks me how mean-spirited that party and other aspects of the state have become. That was not the Montana way. You couldn't survive on the frontier without cooperating with other people. I mean, that's why the tribal peoples of this region had cooperative societies. They understood that you couldn't get along in this kind of habitat without cooperating. In fact, among the Plains Indians, the most serious form of punishment was to ostracize someone, to reject them and force them to live on their own without the benefit of companionship from other members of the tribe. That was the punishment, not to execute them, but to isolate them, because you couldn't survive without other people. And when whites invaded this part of the country, they found out also. So there's a long habit of neighboring and cooperation, which is still present in Montana. It's still here, but with that overlay of the cruelty and mean-spiritedness and hyper-individualism that has been promulgated by the Republican Party and in its present form is really rampant. That's not the authentic Montana. It's here, but one can find that decency, that inclination to help, that habit of neighboring still here. And I worry that all of the in-migration of the white flight from other parts of the country, which is a real thing, has aggravated the dark side that all of us as humans have, which can be mobilized or tapped into, or can flash out into some destructive ways. But that's being aggravated by people who have migrated in and didn't come in with the habit of neighboring and cooperation, which the descendants of white settlers still have here. And those of us who've been here a long time have to try to socialize the newcomers into the kindness or the courtesy or the willingness to live and not live, which appears to be deeply characteristic of Montanans. So it's complicated. It's a purple state, although more red than purple than it used to be. For a long time it was purple, and now it is pretty red. I mean, 60-40. However, I think that's fluid, and I think I think the changes that are happening in Washington now with Elon Musk and his minions crashing into them, wrecking as many things as possible, as rapidly as possible, is waking people up, because Montana is a state that is heavily dependent on federal money. Heavily dependent on federal money, partly because there are a lot of federal lands in the state and managers, and because it's an agricultural state and the agricultural subsidies and insurance and so on are extremely important to the income of agricultural people in the state, and because it's a very poor state. So Montana historically and to this day has received more money, more federal money coming into the state than Montanans pay out in taxes. But this is going to change when the changes implemented by Trump and his crew really ripple through. I think there are going to be some surprising outcomes.
So this is Missoula, huh? Guys, had a lot of snow this week. First time I've ever driven in snow. Got the car stuck 3 times in wet snow. Thank you, Missoula. The last time I saw snow was in New York in 1996. 5 o'clock in the morning, the clubs had just closed, and I couldn't find a taxi. And there was all this snow, and it filled my complete field of vision. And I expected it to be really loud, right? Because it was everywhere. But it was strangely quiet and peaceful. So this is Missoula, the great big blue bubble in the red state. Okay? I am also in a blue bubble, in a blue state, San Francisco. And I was sure that you needed it. I was sure that someone had to come to Montana and evangelize the importance of DEI or IED or RUD. What letters are we using now? I don't remember. But I was sure you needed my help. White cis men. Is there anything more sad? Needing to save people that don't even need saving. When Bruno and Kate told me they were moving to Montana 9 years ago, I said, "You're never gonna find a decent burrito." We all know that Montana doesn't have Mexican food. I was wrong about that too. Missoula is fine. In some ways, Missoula has it more worked out than parts of California that I know. You have a Starbucks, you have McDonald's, and you have Taco Bell. I think you're going to be fine.
that friend took it. I took the baby down to the river because the river lives downtown. I took the baby down to the river, the ice started to crack, I took the baby down to the river, and we touched the water. I took the baby down to the river. The lady with the red phone on the side.
When I think about the tenacity of the Missoula spirit, I think of the couple that drives up and over Scott Street Bridge on their scooters. I don't even want to bike over that bridge. And these people in a rig that has maybe 5 horsepower are going up that inclination, eyes to the horizon, big umbrella saying, here I am, and I'm moving as slow or as fast as I need, and there's no bike lane, but fuck you cars, you can just go around. I'm fine. And I see this couple so often, and I always wonder where they're going. How far across town are they traversing? At a maximum of maybe 3 miles per hour? How long does it take them to get there? I don't know, but they get there every single time. Moving slow, going up and over that Scott Street Bridge.
Spent a lot of time in different countries, in different places, looking for cafes and restaurants that will allow me to stay longer than the average visitor. And I always find nice ones, and I always feel like a stranger. And I always wonder if they'll have my favorite drink, and they probably don't, although I have plenty of others. And last week, after coming home from a few years away, I walked into my favorite coffee shop where my sister used to work for years. And in a moment of confused recognition, the girl working at the front desk called out her name when she saw my face. Just how I like it, to be confused with my older sister.
My favorite part about this town is the river that runs through it. It feels like the vein of this city that holds the blood and the energy. I love being in the river and feeling that, and feeling the cold, and feeling the hands of the earth rocking me gently, softly, safely.
A chairlift, green wax leaves, dark plump berries. Bright, colorful discs. Something lost. Something found.
for coming out and being a part of this. We couldn't be more without words about how all this went. And just thank you for bringing your loving souls, your loving witnessing, and yeah, just feel free to hang around, chat with the artists a little bit. There's a little bit of vittles in the lobby if you want to munch on them. Yeah, make sure if you haven't left a grief in Rat King Station over there to go and love on that. If you haven't seen Bruno's room, go check that real quick. Kate's studio as well, and then go on home. Thank you so much.